damn. I picked the Lakers and the Brooklyn Nets to meet in the finals, and after one game, these damn people got me nervous. They got me nervous. Molly usually tries to keep me calm, but that's usually by slicing and dicing me. They ain't gonna work today. And in the case of Jay Williams, who knows what he's gonna bring to the table? What did I say to you, Molly? When you talk, the camera needs to be on you. The camera is friendlier to you than it is to me. When you hear Molly's voice, put the camera on her. That way, everybody will like First Take. Either way you slice it, you're gonna watch, ain't you? First Take's in the house. Let's go.
LeBron in his 19th season has some familiar faces surrounded him.
Straight out the gate, let's get it, boy. Let's get it!
Down to 30, watching ESPN, yeah, it's game time. Shot like Curry.
We outside, got it!
50-50K on AD and the Lakers, made some paper. Every day I'm training, going hard, I'm trying to be the great. Feel the king, I'm feeling like LeBron, they know what I'm doing. We gon' drop 150 on them guys, we got too many hoopers.
Triple-double for
He's
Curry.
got a triple-double, that is the 8th of his career. A win for Golden State on the road on opening night.
Oh, you know it must be game day because we are suited and booted. Jay Williams, top of the morning to you, sir.
Top of the morning to you guys.
With us. Always good to have you. Stephen A. Smith, how we feeling?
I'm good.
Big night at the Garden tonight?
No doubt about it. The Garden tonight, NBA Countdown in the house, MSG. We here. We here.
What's your chance?
That's what I'm saying. We here. We here. Let's do this. Let's do this.
All right, I'm Molly Karen Rose. We had some games last night. Let's do this. We had a potential Western Conference Finals preview at Staples Center. It was really the big two. LeBron and Anthony Davis both balled 30-plus points, 11 boards, but then Steph Curry and the Warriors took over in the fourth. Curry with his first triple-double since 2016 as the Dubs took down the purple and gold on their home floor. Still without Klay Thompson, 121-114. Russell Westbrook still trying to fit in with his new squad, a work in progress. He had 8-5-4 with 4 turnovers. He's used to averaging a triple-double. Here's King James on that subject.
I just think it was just first game jitters sometimes. Put too much into it. Just probably was a lot just going through his mind, just being a kid from LA, watching the Lakers growing up, and then however many years down the road, now you're putting on a Laker uniform, you're stepping into Staples Center. You're probably, I can only imagine how many friends and family have contacted him over the last 48 hours, wondering if they could come and see his first game as a Laker. So those things, those demands and those asks and those things will quiet down as the season go on and on. So not worried about Russ at all. Just need to be himself.
Okay, the audio not the best there. But clearly he sounds a little defeated. I mean, they were defeated. Jay, I want to start with you. Mm-hmm. Are you worried about Russ?
No.
And this Lakers team, this chemistry?
No. Russell Westbrook last night with him on the floor, they were minus 23 in 35 minutes. With him off the floor, they were plus 16 in those 14 minutes. So, look, I know those stats will be very revealing for people in that first game, watching Stephen Curry not play well and they still win. But this is going to take time. I'm not going to be one of these people that goes on national TV and has a knee-jerk reaction and says, oh, now they're going to have issues. The question that's going to loom around Russell Westbrook, LeBron James said it, he has to be Russ. But he can't be the Russ he was before. He has to be the Russ that is willing to take on a different role with this team and play, understanding that when AD is a top 5 player, AD will be that player. LeBron James will be that player. So for Russ, how do you do more back cuts? How do you play with more energy? Pick your positions, pick your times, your spots a little bit more. Russ can still be very effective on this team. His role is just going to have to slightly change than what it's been his entire time in the league.
Well,
are you going to have one of those knee-jerk reactions, Stephen A?
Relax. Here I come. Jay Williams knows his basketball. I'm not about to question that, but I know mine. And I'm going to tell you something right now. There's a reason to be concerned, even after one game, because it's not about the numbers. Forget the numbers for a second here. Yes, you were minus 23 with him on the floor. There's no doubt about that. We get all of that. That could be an aberration. Rush could have a great game, and still that might be the case in some instances because of the way he plays. I'm talking style of play. I'm talking about what you got to look at. I've been saying for years, even though he's a walking triple-double, What's the problem with Russ? It's not his character. It's not selfishness. It's not some of these things that people try to tear him down about. No, that's not the issue with Russell Westbrook. The issue with Russell Westbrook is that he can't shoot. That's the issue. And last time I checked, that hasn't changed. 1 year after another, he's not a shooter. He can make jump shots here and there, but is he a reliable perimeter shooter? The answer is no. And where's that going to get the Los Angeles Lakers? Jay Williams, you know basketball. That's what this comes down to. We're talking basketball here. If you got Russell Westbrook and he can't shoot the basketball from the perimeter, you can't put him at the 2. If you keep him at the 1, you can't bring Rondo in the game. If you're not going to have Rondo in the game, you're not going to have elite point guard play in the game, which ultimately means that LeBron James at some point in time is going to have to go back to what we've always known him to be, essentially the point guard / point forward, the cerebral mind of your offense, and you're going to have to do that in order for this team to be successful. Remember, when Russell Westbrook was on the court with Rondo, they were on the court together for about 7 minutes, and they were like a minus 15 in 7 minutes. Why? Because you have no perimeter threat. And you got to take into consideration who you're going up against. You're going up against a Golden State Warriors team last night. Let's put this stuff in perspective, please. This not only was not a Klay Thompson, because we all know what that brother, that future Hall of Famer brings to the table, one of the top 5 shooters in the history of the game. James Wiseman is no scrub. He wasn't in the lineup. He was out yesterday. You had Looney back up in there. Kuminga, he was not in the lineup as well. You went and Steph Curry had a bad game. By the way, despite all of that, you still lose this game to the Golden State Warriors. They still beat you. Steph had a bad game. He called his own game trash. Even though I don't call a triple-double trash. Yeah. But he called his own game trash. And then you take into consideration the fact that you got Anthony Davis with undersized dudes on him shooting fall-away jump shots. That's not going to cut it.
Are you a DEFCON 5? DEFCON 10?
No.
Where are you?
No.
Where are you in the worries about the Lakers?
No. What I'm saying to you is this. You have to play differently in order for this team to be successful.
Yes.
Now that brings us to Frank Vogel. Is he the man that can make those adjustments?
Well, that's going to be the question.
Well, see, there we go.
That's the question.
But that's where I was going to Jay, because I know Jay knows his basketball. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying it's the domino effect. One issue creates another with the Los Angeles Lakers. That last night was what I consider to be the Western Conference Finals matchup. And I'm here to tell you something right now. I got the Lakers as my favorite coming out of the West.
Yeah.
They can't beat the Warriors playing like that. They're going to have to play differently. And we're going to have to see them play differently in order to do it.
11 new players on this team.
Sure.
Chemistry takes a minute to actually come together. You talk about Frank Vogel. Frank Vogel is a defensive-minded coach.
That's right.
Which this team is actually going to have to get better defensively.
That's right.
We saw Carmelo Anthony get isolated multiple times last night down the stretch. That's going to be a question for them.
Yep.
Offensively, though, I'm trusting LeBron James to figure it out.
So am I.
When LeBron James got to Miami, they were 9-8 that first year. People were ready to fire Eric Spoelstra. They figured it out. They got to NBA championship. When he came to Cleveland, they were 500 around January. They figured it out. They got to NBA championship. Look, Russ is going to have to play with the ball in his hands a lot of times. LeBron may have to shoot more threes this year and demand the ball.
That ain't going to work.
Or demand the ball differently throughout the system in order to allow him. And look, Tim Legler said this, and I'm actually starting to trend in this direction a little bit. Russ may have to come off the bench some games too. Because Russ in his second unit
I'm glad you did that.
Energize the second unit in a different way. He just has to accept that, Stephen.
I'm glad you went there. Let me say this. I'm not jumping off the Laker bandwagon after one game. We analyze it. Remember, I'm a soap opera guy. You understand what I'm saying? You know that the stars, you know what? Listen, Sonny Corinthos on General Hospital.
What aren't
Victor
you?
Newman
You're
on Victor Newman on Young and the Restless. It doesn't matter whether they get shot, stabbed, fall down the stairs, or whatever.
So much drama.
I'm helping y'all out here. The point is this. It doesn't matter what happens to them. They're going to live, okay? Those stars are going to live. So we understand that. But it doesn't mean that you don't tell a story. And while the story is percolating, you got to tell it. And when you're paying attention to the Los Angeles Lakers right now, be very, very clear about what you just said. Russell Westbrook coming off the bench. Do you understand that this might be the greatest challenge of LeBron James' career?
Yes.
Because we understand. See, Kyrie could shoot.
Yeah.
What you're doing with Russell Westbrook, Kyrie could come off the ball. He might not have wanted to. He might have wanted the ball in his hands. He might have resented the fact that LeBron James had the ball in his hands and was running the offense and stuff like that. But you didn't ask Kyrie to do something he was incapable of doing. In the case of Russell Westbrook, what's going to happen now is, okay, you're not a shooter. You need the ball in your hands. So when you don't have the ball in the hands, what purpose are you serving? And if that question isn't answered in a positive fashion, then you're talking about him coming off the bench. Now, I ask you, Jay Williams, again, you cover the NBA. You know your basketball. You really think you could ask Russell Westbrook to come off the bench?
I think you have to make it his idea.
How you going to do that? How you going to do that?
You have to give him
I'm all in.
You have to do a series of ebbs and flows and say, hey, look, I want to get momentum going for you. When I'm on the court, just because you start a game this way doesn't mean you finish games this way now, right? So my thing is, when I'm on the court, I'm going to be ball dominant. When you're on the court, I want you to find your rhythm very quickly. And then when we're on the court together, you and I have to play differently. When I have the ball, I have to move more without the ball. When you have the ball, you have to move more. Like, you have to change it up that way. It's going to be hard. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but you can't have two ball dominant people on the floor at the same time.
Jay touches me with this because it's so cute what he's saying. It truly is. I would remind
Very
you, Jay
dismissive.
Williams. I'm not being dismissive.
The word cute, come on.
Listen, let me tell you why.
dismissive.
Let me tell you why. Allen Iverson's my brother. You know that. They tried to ask him to come off the bench. How'd that work out? Throughout history, when you ask a star, like, everybody ain't Vince Carter now. Everybody's not somebody. Listen, some guys, it takes a rare guy because Russell Westbrook has been starting
Let me ask you a
and
question.
finishing games throughout his entire career.
How many championships has LeBron James won?
4.
How many championships has Russell Westbrook won?
0.
So Russell Westbrook is trying to win a championship.
Yes.
If you're at that later stage of your career, even though you still are in it, Mr. Triple-Double last year,
That's right.
You have to do things differently in order to get
We're
a result
not
that you
debating what
want.
needs to be. We're not debating what may need to be done. What I'm challenging you on, and anybody out there who says that, including Legs, who's my brother, that brother knows his basketball.
It's how you do it.
I'm saying, you going to be able to pull that off? I'll pull out my wallet right now. I bet you ain't going to be able to do that this year. Now, if it was 2-3 years down the road, maybe. But after literally averaging a triple-double last year, after doing it 4 times in his career, being a starter and a finisher his entire career, this season, you think you're going to get Russell Westbrook to come off the bench?
I think you're dismissing how much Russell Westbrook wants to win a championship.
I think he wants to desperately.
I think he wants it desperately. And I think Russell Westbrook is willing to do things differently, and that gives him a different result than the one that he's had for his entire career.
Okay.
It almost feels like a waste of his talent, though, when we're talking about a guy that averaged a triple-double last season to have him come off the bench. I'm just telling you the truth. And I know we're focused on the Lakers, but I feel like the Warriors, they sent a message last night, and that's especially without Klay Thompson, who will be coming back this winter.
I've been talking about the Warriors for a while now. I told you about the Warriors now.
All right, star point guard Ben Simmons has been suspended